Dorothy Bolden started working with her mother doing domestic work at 9 years old. She was proud of the work, but she also knew how difficult it could be and wanted domestic workers to be seen and respected as part of the labor force. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was her next-door neighbor, and he encouraged her to take action. So in 1968, she founded the National Domestic Workers Union, helping organize these workers on a scale never before seen in the U.S. Nannie Helen Burroughs launched the National Association of Wage Earners in 1921, a labor union for black domestic workers. Burroughs also established the National Trade School for Women and Girls to combat labor exploitation through education, helping improve working conditions and expand career paths for black women. Known as the First Lady of Roxbury, community organizer and activist Melnea Cass helped provide social services, professional training, and labor rights education that empowered Boston's most vulnerable workers. One of many examples is a program she co-created that provided child care for working mothers. Her advocacy also helped achieve a major legislative victory in 1970 when Massachusetts passed the nation's first state-level minimum wage protections for domestic workers since the Great Depression. As one of 11 children, Clara Day, a member of Local 743 in Chicago, a union for over 10,000 employees, took naturally to collective action and coalition building. She first started organizing co-workers at Montgomery Ward, where she worked in 1953, and helped found the Coalition of Labor Union Women and the Teamsters National Black Caucus. She helped bring attention to issues like pay equity and sexual harassment. Arnold Hedgeman was a civil rights activist, educator, and worker who helped organize the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. She's the one who advocated for the jobs part and was a lifelong advocate for equal opportunity and employment. She persuaded the organizers to include economic issues in the demonstration. The only woman on the event's administrative committee, she also fought to ensure women were included in the Women in the Days program. Dora Lee Jones helped found the Domestic Workers Union in Harlem in 1934 in defiance of New York City's quote-unquote slave markets, as they were known at the time. With few employment options during the Depression, black women would gather in the morning at certain locations and wait for middle-class women to hire them, typically for terrible wages. The union called for a minimum wage, overtime, 2 weeks' notice for termination, and no window washing because the black women workers were regularly asked to perform the dangerous task of cleaning the outside of upper-floor apartment windows. Maida Springer Kemp worked as a labor organizer in the garment industry and became the first black woman to represent the U.S. labor movement overseas in 1945 when she visited post-war Britain on a labor exchange trip. She went on to spend many years liaisoning between American and African labor leaders as a member of the AFL-CIO, affectionately known as Mama Maida, for her work. Rosina Corrothers Tucker helped establish the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, the nation's first predominantly black labor union, and its International Ladies Auxiliary Order. The BSCP became the first black union recognized by the AFL-CIO in 1935. She also organized workers in the laundry trades. Remember, we had that video about the washerwomen and domestic service industries, fought for racial and economic justice as part of the March on Washington movement, and lobbied Congress for labor and education reforms.